What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to tell you how to fear none. And this is just going to be a simple process. By the end of this video, you would have gone through several tips, and I will also add any side things that if you have will make this process like beneficial, and if you don't have, you can start working on it to make this process work even better for yourself. So, what do I mean by a fear none? Simply means you fear none. You fear nothing at all. And what are the benefits of that? The benefits of that is you get to live your life exactly how you want to without any of the common fears that we all have, be it of going broke, be it of death, be it of ill health, be it of, well, ill health is also tied to death, criticism, abandonment, all of these things, all of these feelings that we construct fear around as a response to avoiding a bad circumstance is really what prevents us from living our life as effortlessly and as easily as we possibly can. Now, in this process, I'm going to take you through a few steps. So, step one is going to be acknowledge it. Now, this is one of the hardest parts, and with a lot of things, acknowledging it is step one. You can't make any progress if you don't acknowledge that there's a problem. And it's not entirely that there's a problem, it's just it doesn't make you a bad person that there is a problem. It's just more that there's something that you can change. There's something for you to put some work in. In my definition, it would just be there's something there that I need to explore, that if I do explore it, it'll make my life better. And that's how I view fear right now. So the first thing is acknowledging it, right? So you could have a fear of, trying to take action on a business deal. You could have a fear of jumping in front of a camera, in front of a camera to record. There's a massive fear that exists for a lot of people because it's a fear of criticism. It's a fear of standing out and essentially receiving negative feedback. And it's a bullying kind of behavior where you didn't have to have been bullied to understand that this is something that you should fear, right? So step one would be acknowledging it. And why this is powerful is because while you do give the fear a little bit of power, you remove its mystery. And when there's no mystery around it, we get less lost in the imagination side of things, and we actually focus on what's really happening. So that's the first step, acknowledging it. And this can be tough, but just with meditation, self-reflection, even journaling, you can write about this and express how you're feeling and get past it. So that's step one. Step two is to lean into it. Now, there is a prerequisite step, and one of the things to really help with this step is meditation. There's a book I would recommend called The Courage to Be Disliked. And the book title has like nothing to do with what the book is actually about, but I think I'll leave that to you. You go find and discover what that book is about, because it changed the way I view the world, right? So that what it will help you with when you're leaning into it is that you need to change your state. With meditation, what that book will teach you is that we complicate things a lot more than we need to as human beings. And leaning into the pain, leaning into the fear is a method that we can use in order to just tackle our day-to-day, in order to really remove power from the mind, remove power from the imagination. So leaning into your fear means you're going into this scenario where you say, you know what, I'm gonna drink some water, I'm gonna meditate, and I'm gonna sit here until I no longer fear this thing. I'm gonna sit here and face the thing. So the criticism may have been you saw like a close friend of yours who wore like a fancy pair of shoes, and then he got criticized for it. So you wanted to avoid that. By avoiding that scenario, now it's manifesting in your day-to-day behavior as, okay, I don't want to stand out too much. I don't want to buy those shoes. I don't want to put myself forward in the workplace. and you're shutting yourself from opportunities. And it may not be that it was a shoe scenario with your friend, it may have been an actual problem. And if it is, then seriously consider the book I recommended. But seriously, you're gonna have to channel a state of courage. You're gonna have to do something to really amp up your energy, whether it's just having like a deep breathing session, whether it's like beating your chest or whatever, making that kind of state change, like doing like 10 star jumps or doing a workout. And then you come home and then you say, okay, I'm going to sit and meditate on this and then get through it. Having that kind of mindset will make you far more powerful than the little bit of fear. So for me, this has happened a few times. I was scared to face a few thoughts, and these thoughts kept recurring. And then, so what I did was I did a meditation. I did a lot of deep breathing, and then I said, I'm going to sit here and work through it. I'm going to sit and face it. If I have to face a deep, dark memory that comes up that I'm not prepared for, well, I'm going to make myself prepared. I'm going to face it. So that is what it was, leaning into it. And yes, this can be tough, but doing it one time will not necessarily fix it completely, but it will make it so much easier for the remaining times going forward, right? Step three is once you're able to lean into it, you see through it. You see through it that you're still in your room, you're meditating, you're revisiting the story, but it's just a story. It's a story that your body has latched onto, that your ego is telling itself to avoid a certain thing happening. And it's all just to protect yourself. That's all it is. That's why we say we see through it, because it's an illusion. This fear that you have is an illusion from your actual self. And what it is it's your ego creating some kind of scenario, circumstance, some kind of alibi so that it can protect itself and avoid pain. So once you're able to see through it, you'll see, oh, okay, even further, there's less mystery. It's something that's like tangible. It's a story that I'm telling myself, and I can see through it. And it's just as simple as that. Like, if it's a story I'm telling myself, it's a story I can change, and I don't have to stay this way. So that is one of the most powerful steps, but it does require the other two. And one of the things that can really help with this kind of thing, and I've mentioned it before, is changing your state. But the next thing that you can do that will really help this is having faith. Faith, if you're a religious person, even if you are very spiritual, but you are able to let go and trust and have that faith built up, that's something that makes this process a lot more simpler. And you'll see when you're able to let go and just face it as it is, and take back the energy that you're giving to a story. Understand that it takes time, and sometimes you're going to have to revisit it, but when you have that faith in your corner as well as like your trump card to play, that can really help you as well. So consider that as something you want to like really build as well. And then the final step is, if this is something where you've seen it the first time and this is like you're seeing through it, you understand it's a story, now I want you to re-warp it, or just warp it, change it, morph the image, morph the story. And what this will do is, especially this is only if you're in like a lot of pain and if what you're facing is very, very intense, right? If what you're facing is very, very intense, you want to warp the scenario, you want to morph it. And I want you to think of the movie Harry Potter. And if you haven't seen it, just Google Harry Potter 3, the ridiculous scene. And essentially what it is these kids face this thing called a boggart, and it takes on the form of what someone fears the most. And their method with facing this fear and having a wand at the ready, they use the spell called ridiculous, or ridiculous is how they say it. And they say that, and then the thing they feared the absolute most, morphs into something hilarious. It morphs into a joke. So think about that. remorph the story, not even remorph, just morph the story into something that, reshape is the word I'm going for. Reshape the story into something that's a joke, because it's just the story. It's a fear that you're telling yourself. It's a story you're telling yourself. Morph it, face it, and then you can continue to live your life without it being so triggering. And why this works is when your mind is triggered by something, you will no longer find yourself being drawn into that fear state. Now, state is an important thing. That's why I mentioned things like changing your state before you go in. So deep breaths before meditating on it. Going to gym beforehand, like expending some energy, having that dopamine release will help you. Don't drink coffee. I think that's a very hectic one. It may like elevate your heart rate and stuff and make it a bit harder to control. But if you know you can control your state, and there's ways you can do that, like the easiest way to control your state is to take a deep breath in, and then take a deep breath out with your mouth, but you're gonna be like blowing, right? And it must be longer than your breath in. So it's and completely let it out. As long as the breath in is shorter and the breath out is longer, that's all that you care about. And the more you do that, you'll feel your shoulders sink, you'll feel your body sink into, whether you're sitting or you're standing, or if you're lying down, you'll feel your body become lighter, and you'll get into that deeper state so that you can face the subconscious mind. And I really hope this helps. If you want more information, there'll be a link there. If you want coaching on someone to take you through this process and, structure it according to your needs for the specific need that you have, the specific fear you're trying to overcome, see the link in the description. We can book some time and see if we're a good fit. But really understand that fear is nothing, and you can fear none. The channel is called Mohin Fears None because this is the journey I'm on and this is what I'm learning. So I know this is maybe a year, but in 5 years time, it's gonna be easy, and there's gonna be more like evidence to back it up. So understand that time is also working in your favor. You taking action now is how you make that time act in your favor. So faith is one thing that can help. Time is one thing that can help if you act now. And the third thing is just state control. So understanding that you can control your state, you can shift it up and down. Just by smiling alone will make your inner mind smile as well. And it works vice versa. So the same way you can have a glass of Coke and feel like a smile is coming on, it works the other way around. You can think of Coke and smile. You could think of a relative and smile. And it's the same way with your whole body. You can think of something and get a response based on your body. You can think about being in a sporting event and getting really lost in a match and scoring a goal and feeling strong that you scored a goal and celebrating, and you can feel it in your body. You can feel the good feeling. So that is on state control, and that is something that you'd want to explore as well. I'll make a video on it in a future period, but yeah, understand fear is something that we cause ourselves, and it's just the ego. It's something you can completely move past. There's something that's far more powerful though, and that's your influence. And if you're able to make change in your life today, you will influence the people around you, and that is far more valuable than anything else in this world. So really consider the things you're doing, and if you are taking action on becoming a fear none, really make the change not just for yourself. Think about how you can use what you've learned to help others immediately. Have a good one.